Okay, so first things first. I think OBS has changed the way that it handles audio sources because I used to be able to. So the slide, the really pathetic, really last minute, zero effort slide that I just showed, that one. I used to be able to have all audio sources not just muted but removed because obviously I don't want to. So what happened yesterday is I was sort of cursing to myself, which is fine. I have my Twitch set to um, for mature audience only or whatever, so I can say whatever I want. But I was unaware that when I was on this slide, like so, um, actually the audio was active, and at first blush, I'm not actually seeing any sort of easy way of having zero audio sources attached to this scene and still having the mic fully attached and unmuted on the main scene, like this scene, or like even the browser scene. Um, yeah, so if anyone has any ideas, I'm sure it exists. It's just that it's moved around in OBS and I don't know where it is. I'm not intuitively finding it. Um, so that's that. I mean, it's not a deal breaker because I have a mute unmute button on my. I may as well show this. I've got a Stream Deck Mini, um, and they introduced this function where you can page back and forth, so it works around the fact that you only have 6 buttons. I have a mute unmute function, but I just find it a bit unnecessary because, like, just give me. Sorry, there's a few things going on. Sorry, I'll just need to, because I'm working on single monitor, that always makes things a little bit more difficult. Okay, move to the top. Okay, so we've got stream chat. Sebi Wokage. Yeah, well, good morning. I hear you're a little bit of an insomniac, so I'm not totally surprised that you're awake at 6:12 a.m. Taiwan Standard Time. But welcome. I better finish this coffee before it goes cold. Mm. Okay, and I also need to. What I need to do is just. What was it I wanted to do? I wanted to put out a stream announcement as League says, what's X299? Okay, so the bot is working. Cool. Can I edit? I can't edit. I'll just reply to it and be like, Taiwan, what is it called? Day 2 vlog / test stream. Okay, cool. Yeah. So let's see. Nightbot benchmark. Hey, benchmark is semi-awake at least, it seems like. Okay, cool. Oh, the me bot. How can I link to this? I can link to Discord, right? So copy message link. Check out, like, the me bot is like trying to be an AI now. Like I said, I put vlog in an announcement channel, and me was like, "This is what a vlog is," and I'm like, "I don't give a fuck." Okay, I should probably. So the stream chat replay within OBS I was missing yesterday. I re-added that, but I'm not quite sure about the placement on the screen. Okay, first things first. Well, first of all, I'm finishing my coffee. Very important. I had like 7 espressi on Saturday after the flight because I didn't have much sleep. So I know there's like hardly anyone in the chat right now, which is fair. But what's your feeling on white versus black headset? I do a little bit of a model. I'll do a bit of a model. Let's go, because I'm going to use one of the headsets as the interview headset for the interviewee. And one of them is what I'm going to be wearing like permanently myself. And I know it's a small thing, but like we may as well discuss it. Cat ears. Okay, that's not an option, Steffi. I gave you two. I gave you three options: white headset, black headset, or don't respond. So there you go. Um, I may as well like sort of settle this once and for all because it's the tiniest thing, right? But like I am actually kind of undecided as to which one I should pick. Like black is where's left and where's right channel? That's the first thing. Because I hate inverted stereo. Some people are not sensitive to it at all, but I fucking hate an inverted stereo. So it feels like where the cable is. Oh, left. Okay, left is indicated. Okay, sweet. So left and right are indicated. So what I'm looking at is the gray bit here. I don't know if that showed up on the bad internal camera here. So cable is left for future reference, and so writing facing me basically is the mental note that I'm making. Is like if I'm looking at it like this and I can read Audio Technica, then it's the right way. So here we've got black. I mean, it goes well with the Aorus top I'm currently wearing, but that's not going to be what I'm wearing every single day. Let's double check. Okay, dropped frames. So I'm still on the 5G. The people who... Okay, I'll get into all that later, but basically the powers that be have told me that there will be Ethernet available for me to use at the event, which I didn't know because I knew about the crappy Wi-Fi. I wanted to get off of the crappy Wi-Fi, if at all possible. So that's why I got the 5G card. But apparently the Ethernet may be even more reliable. So the story goes that because I have a dock. I don't think I can show you the dock without it like disconnecting. What I will do is, let's just, so HP 2.5 GBE dock. I think it's a 120 watt, something like that. Yeah, I think this is the model. So ignore the price. I didn't buy it for that much. Where's the specs? No, I don't. I stay in Australia, of course. Give me some specs. S'il vous plaît. Specs. Yeah. Okay, this is a bit dense how they show it here, but let me break that down. Oh no, why didn't that copy paste? I used the thing. Okay. Learn power button is irrelevant. I will just delete that. Yeah, I don't know why they break it down into top and side components. This is HP. I don't really like you guys. This is a really awkward way of presenting these specs. Let's go to an actual online store. Let's give Amazon is pretty bad about displaying specs. Let's give an Aussie e-tailer a little bit of a shout out. Come on, Scorptech? No. Oz Bargains? Man, why is this so difficult through Shopping Express? Where the hell is what's Shopping Express? Let's see you see how the specs are displayed there. Oh, man. Ooh, okay, I kind of like this a little bit better. Okay, so like OS support, I don't know why they have to break that down. That's obviously for people who are just very uninformed. Okay, so okay, like I said, irrelevant. I'll paste this into my note keeping app. Just HP doc. Okay, it's like I say, irrelevant. I hate the breakdown between top and back components. Like at the end of the day, any cable that you do have is gonna reach. So why do they feel the need to break it down like that? Let's go. Let's break it down into display, like monitor ports. I'll 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 bundle in the MISC ports, like the Kensington lock and the. All right, here we go. So display, MISC, and then everything else. I feel like that's one USB-C alt mode, but is that in addition to the other USB-Cs? They're not really being clear here. Okay, I think Dropbox paper supports HRs, like horizontal rules, but I don't remember the keyboard shortcut. Okay, I'm gonna do my own. Is another one. Okay, that's just a weird note that we don't need. So basically, the meat and potatoes is the top section here. I certainly appreciate the HDMI and DisplayPort, but Taiwan number one, our suck by Star Rock, yeah. I think white for you for some reason. Okay, cool. I'll model the white in a minute. Okay, so let's just briefly talk about why I have this dock in the first place. I hate connecting and disconnecting a lot of shit every time I put my laptop on my standing desk in my benching room in Australia at home. So, I mean, obviously the first aim is only disconnect one cable, a USB-C cable, right? So that's kind of the main reason people use docks. However, the other thing that I wanted was 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. That was absolutely critical for me because I converted my home. I don't want to get into like exactly what network setup I have at home. It's kind of boring, but basically the part of my network at home that I use to communicate with my streaming desktop from my daily laptop, right? I daily laptop. I don't really use my desktop except for streaming. The part of my network, two internal Ethernet ports. I don't get what that means. Oh, I think they mean the split. There's dual drivers. Okay, I'll get onto that in a second. The part of my network that I use to move around large files for benching, essentially, is all wired, and it's 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. So obviously on the desktop, that's not an issue because it's a B550 board that's relatively recent, right? It just has a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, just standard. That's fine. The switch cost a little bit of money, but it was totally reasonable. On the NAS, it became a little bit more difficult because I like Synology. I know it's expensive and stuff, but it's just really good, in my opinion. It's just, my previous Synology lasted 8 years, and the only reason I replaced it was because it had, I believe, an Atom core in it. And I was using my NAS as a Plex server, and for certain scenarios like 4K, it just got a little bit too choppy and slow. So I replaced that NAS, and I had to just go a little bit higher up in their model ranking, let's say, to get one with the possibility of adding a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet 4X. I think it's I'm trying to remember. I think it's a dual NIC. It's a PCI Express card. I think the physical interface is 4X, or it might be like 2X or 1X. I can't remember. But the point being, the NAS that I bought was a little bit more expensive because I needed to buy one that had a empty PCI Express slot for me to throw in an Ethernet card. So that's my desktop and my NAS. Now the final device is my laptop, and that's actually where it gets a little bit more complicated. Let's see. So this is a hello. Oh, the scene switching is just a little bit slow. There's a 1 gigabit Ethernet, USB-C. I believe you can now get these as 2.5, but because I have a dock, and my whole aim with the dock is attach absolutely fucking everything to the dock, and then just to plug and unplug one cable, because I also have experience with killing a, well, I didn't kill it, it's just that it was bad, like it just didn't last, killing the only high speed, um, so my previous laptop had two USB-Cs, but you have to use those for charging as well, so two isn't actually a lot. And the previous laptop had a breakdown where the back USB-C was 10 gigabits, whatever that is, USB 3.2 gen, whatever. So one was 10 gigabits, the other one was only 5, I think, or was it 20 and 10, something like that. So really only the back port was fast enough for this dock, and the backboard broke because I didn't consider, with all of my charging of the laptop over like a time span of a year, that I may physically break. It wasn't totally broken; it would still charge, but it wasn't able to sustain reliably the top speed of the port anymore. So I had to kind of RMA the laptop and get the motherboard replaced because it's on the motherboard, right? So now I'm really conscious of wear and tear of my USB-C ports. My current laptop, which is if you tune into my previous stream, it's a Lenovo ThinkPad T14S AMD. The current gen of it, I think it's Gen 6, which has got a Ryzen AI 7 Pro 360 in it, which is 8 core 16 thread. So that's a bit off topic. But the good thing about this is both USB-Cs are the same speed. I think it's 20 now. I don't think it's 40. I think 40 is quite rare still. But 20 is plenty for this dock. So the good thing is, if the USB-C were ever to die, one of the two, outside of warranty, let's say, the laptop wouldn't be totally unusable. Like, it would be annoying to only have one USB-C, but no matter which of the two ports dies, I'll still have a port fast enough to use this dock. Massive tangent. But that's why, first of all, a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet version of this is quite expensive. And secondly, I don't want to break it out into another USB-C port. I want everything flowing via the dock. So I've got this dock. Such a massive tangent. Yeah, so the long and the short of it is, yeah, so charging ports when docked. Let's just look up a picture of this fucking thing. Because I literally have it next to me, but I have it in an awkward enough spot that that I can't lift it up and show it to you guys without potentially disconnecting something. Okay, this gets close to showing everything basically, because it's a side on, like it's a diagonal kind of view. Okay, so you've got a single display port, a single HDMI port. I haven't tried multi-monitor on it, but I don't need multi-monitor because I have an ultra-wide. That's my only external display. I use that in combination with the internal display to have a pretty, like, it's not perfect. I used to have two 24-inchers, and I love having two externals, but the time, it's like I have to sort of move with the times, and those screens were quite old. They were 16:10, like 1920 by 1200, which was great. It was actually still more pixels than my ultra wide gives me, but I just kind of have to move with the times. So single external display. Maybe you guys, I haven't been keeping up with the chat. Hi Starblue. Sorry, I still haven't implemented your stereo image thing. I have it on my list. I may be able to do it on stream later, depending on time. So I'm still mono right now. So I don't know if this is a limitation of. I'll just quickly. M-Wave Procreate Ultra Wide Zeus 34-inch. That should find it. Yeah, I believe this is the ultra wide I have. I wanted a flat ultra wide because I don't like curved displays, and there's a limited selection of those. Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't actually bothered to check whether this is a limitation of the dock, a limitation of the standards themselves, the like display port versus USB-C versus HDMI, but just the way the cookie crumbles with my setup with this dock and that screen, um, I can only get 100 hertz out of the HDMI. I think it's actually on the monitor side. I think I remember looking it up. So the monitor does, from memory, the monitor does 120 hertz static. I don't do like FreeSync or whatever because I'm always on the desktop. It doesn't make any sense to me. So static, like a constant 120 hertz on DisplayPort and on USB-C, but not on HDMI. It only does 100, and I want the full fat 120. So since I want to use one of the other inputs for my desktop, and I don't want to go switching, like actually physically changing cables all the time, I decided, considering what I have available on my DGPU that's in the desktop, which is either HDMI or DisplayPort, meaning 100 hertz on HDMI or 120 hertz on DisplayPort, I decided to give the single, I believe it's a single DisplayPort input on that monitor to the desktop, which then excludes the DisplayPort option on this dock. And since the three options it has is HDMI, DisplayPort, and USB-C, even though I don't like the durability of USB-C cables, they're quite fragile in comparison to HDMI. Like HDMI is bulletproof. I use it on my hi-fi and on my TV and stuff, and it's just like, it's such a good physical, not royalty and specs wise. I'm just talking physically. It's such a good cable standard. But I can't use it here because it doesn't do 120 hertz. So I'm on USB-C. So I'm using, I think you can see my pointer. I believe this, see how it's indicated? Like it's like linked to DisplayPort. I guess the full fat DisplayPort port gets disabled when this is enabled, but I don't care because I only have one external monitor. So I'm using this out for 120 hertz on my ultra wide. Therefore, the other two outs are just off. There is a second DisplayPort, right? Okay, I don't use that either. You get my point, right? So I guess what they're indicating with this little infographic type thing is that if you wanted a second out that's DisplayPort, you would use the top DisplayPort in combination with the USB-C. So you would still have two outs. So that's nice. If I ever, I've got the largest standing desk that IKEA sells in Australia, and it still barely fits all my monitors and bench rigs and whatever else. So I don't really have the physical capacity to add a second external. I would be totally up for it because you can always use more screen real estate, right? But as it stands, I can't physically do that. But if I were to do it at some point in the future, like if I move houses or something, or get a second standing desk and put it next to this standing desk and sync up the heights of them, I would have a second DisplayPort out. So that's kind of cool. Two USB A's. They're called single super speed here, so they would actually have a pretty decent data throughput. But in my case, I just attach the mouse, like basic stuff, and the Stream Deck. So like no high data requirements whatsoever, but just whatever devices I have that are USB-A just get chucked in there. And then this is like half an hour in the making. Okay, dock is DisplayPort 1.2 only. Zost, thanks for joining, Zost. Useful info. I'll just tell you from my perspective, right? Like everyone has a different perspective, so please don't devolve into anti and pro HDMI camps because of this. But what I'll say is, okay, I have so many use cases for HDMI. I have audio only, video only, video and audio. Like I use HDMI for cameras, for Blu-ray players, for gaming consoles, and I just find that it's a really, really robust standard. So just to give you an idea, right, I'll just break this out. I don't give a fuck. I can rejoin it later. So these are the cables that I brought from home that I actually use for my hi-fi and TV. So this is like, they call them 8K certified. I don't know what that really means. It's probably the highest like bitrate that HDMI supports. But these are like really nice braided thick cables, and I don't know how much you can see like the way that they're sort of joined and stuff. This is like indestructible. If you compare that to a flimsy, I'm sure you guys have different opinions. I shouldn't have pulled that out because I'm gonna find it hard to find the hole again. Um, that's the sex joke, guys. I know it's pathetic. Okay, right. Um, okay, so that's the first point is durability. I know you can get the same quality of cable with USB-C, but I'm just arguing that because it's a physically larger standard, it just ends up being more bulletproof than USB-C or DisplayPort anyway. Um, the other point I'll make is you can get like 15 or 20 meter runs of HDMI, and I feel, and that's really useful for my cameras if I want to place a camera really far away from my actual rig. I feel like that kind of signal integrity, correct me if I'm wrong, but it probably doesn't exist for DisplayPort and USB-C. You would have to go, if you want something that isn't HDMI, you'd probably have to go Ethernet for that length of run. You get where I'm coming from? I don't want to turn into a big like flame, like a big like us versus them, but for me, like I like HDMI. Oh, the stream dropped for a second. Let me check on that. Zero dropped frames and online for 30 minutes. I'm not seeing anything on my end, but that doesn't mean that wasn't a problem. Okay, let me try and quickly just catch up on chat. Okay. Okay. All right. I missed some of the chat, so I'm just quickly going into the stream manager, which is like a separate view on Twitch where I can see the entire chat replayed. Because if as a just a as a like regular viewer, when you reconnect, which is what I had to do because my stream, like my replay of my own stream dropped, um, it reconnects at the point that you reconnect, like the stream chat does. So you miss some messages, but as I'm the actual streamer, I can go into like a dashboard and see all the messages with timestamps. So let's see. Okay, so Sebi says white, Taiwan number one. Um, you see more bad HDMI cables than DisplayPort. Fair. Dock is 1.2 only. Would need 1.4 for 120 hertz. Yeah, but Star Blue, like I was saying, I'm not gonna use. Oh, I think I know the point that you're making. If I were to add a second monitor, and that monitor were to require DisplayPort 1.4, then I would not be able to do 120 hertz. Yeah, okay, I understand. Um, Most companies classify HDMI by the text on the cable itself. So like super ultra high speed. Uh, yeah, yeah, and you can what you can do is you can um, the like actually 8K certified ones. They come with a QR code on the packaging, and you can get a little app on your phone. Um, that is actually the app is by the HDMI consortium or whatever it's called, and you can scan the QR code and it will tell you, because there's a lot of fake stuff out there, right? It will tell you that a cable is 8K certified. I feel like that's kind of maybe a little bit of a waste of money because those cables are quite expensive. This is like the next tier down. This is like a not officially 8K certified cable that meets the specs anyway. It's just that the company producing it has decided to save money and pass that saved cost onto the consumer by not actually getting the cable certified, even though they know that it meets the spec. So it's like 99% of the way there. Anyway, okay, chat replay. I think I'm almost caught up. That's hard. I'm definitely very pro DisplayPort. HDMI has gotten more widespread and has improved a bunch over the years. Network dropped. Okay, you're back. It's good. Okay, so long HDMI cables being a thing makes it superior in some way. Gotcha. Yeah, no, not. It's just that for my use case, right? Like, um, if you guys are using HDMI just to connect a monitor to a gaming rig, yeah, I don't see any benefit of HDMI really over DisplayPort or USB-C in DisplayPort alt mode. In a lot of ways, sorry, that's bugging me in the background. There we go. Now I have less background clutter. In a lot of ways, their USB-C actually becomes like the superior standard because you have USB power delivery pass through, right, on some monitors, which is kind of nice. Like if your monitor is closer to where you're sitting than your actual rig, and you want to just charge your phone or something, my understanding is that some monitors have power delivery on like a slave USB-C port, so that's kind of nice. Okay, let's go back to the dock. And so obviously here you have the full fat power brick going into the dock, like with a round connector, and then there's another USB-C on the side. Is that everything? Let's go to the list. Yeah, so one Ethernet, two A's. Let's put the alt mode in with the display port. Yeah, that makes more sense. So what's this indicating? This is indicating four total USB-Cs, right? Just different standards. Some of them are 5 gigabits and some are 10. One is like a full fat Thunderbolt 4. Yeah, so we have two USB-A. I feel like this should be indicated as being USB-A. So, and then four USB-C. Let's check if there's actually four. One, two. Are they double counting some of them? I don't understand. Let me try and check on the dock. Okay, I'm just gonna walk away from the stream for like 30 seconds. Let me actually physically check, because I don't think there's four. I think there's two USB-A. There's the display one, this display port alt mode USB-C. There's the one at the bottom here, and there's the one at the side. So like usable USB-Cs, I think there are only two, which is still a lot, considering there's USB-A as well, and there's alt mode and whatever. Let me just check. I'm curious now. Okay. All right, mystery solved. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a picture of the other side, but there's two more on the other side. So you have two USB-A here, one USB-C down here, a USB-C and a USB-A, and okay, that's the side with the two. Okay, so one of the sides has USB-A and USB-C. The other side has a single USB-C, and then the back has a USB-C. So you've got three usable USB-Cs if I exclude the display one, and three USB-As. And they have various, obviously because you're funneling all of this, including the displays. Sorry, a mosquito bit me last night and it's really itchy. Actually, I have two bites. You have three USB-As, three USB-Cs, plus all the display stuff, plus the Ethernet, all being funneled through a single USB-C going to the laptop. And I believe, let me just look it up. I'm curious now. So I think, yeah, that's the one. I think it's at least 20 gigabits, if not 40. 20 for sure. Let's see. Yeah, 40. 40. So that's good. That's good. Okay, I wasn't 100% sure, but it is 40. Um, so, yeah, so you're funneling in the absolute worst case scenario, you're funneling. I mean, Thunderbolt 4 is going to be like at least 10. It's going to present at least 10, right? So you're funneling 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5, and it's 2 of each. Sorry. So this is 10, this is 10, this is 10, and this is 10. So you're actually presenting 10, 20, 30, 40. You're presenting 40 gigabits of just USB plus the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet plus all the display stuff. So you guys can probably imagine now that the USB-C that's going to the laptop can get congested, right? Like, there's just no way, right? Like, I understand that it's better to add ports and have additional ports, because the reality is, are people really going to use all of these ports simultaneously with the full data bandwidth expected by... Oh, why did my browser go away? Oops. Oh, okay. With the full data bandwidth actually being utilized, like, most people won't. Like, they'll like charge their phone on one of the USB-Cs like I'm doing. They'll keep some ports empty. They'll use some ports. Like, the A is 5 gigabit, right? That's pretty... I mean, by today's standards, that's a slow USB port. But 5 gigabit back in the day, that would have been a really fast USB port. But I'm using it for a mouse, right? Like, how much does a mouse use? And I'm using it for a Stream Deck. A Stream Deck is just like a single input when I press a button. Like, it's just nothing, right? So I'm certainly not typically saturating the dock, but I do find if I'm copying a lot of files via the Ethernet, and I have the external display attached, and I may have some other stuff attached, it can get a bit saturated. So for the purposes of streaming, I'm trying to break out as much stuff as possible from the dock, because I know it'll be a bottleneck. So on my laptop, let's go back to what the laptop does. Where's a good picture? I think there's a ports and connectivity section somewhere, like an actual breakdown. Yeah, so I might make it smaller so you can see the... Oh, god damn it, Lenovo. Features, stay on the features tab, please. Okay, so you should be able to see it now, kind of. I want to close this fucking feedback banner at the bottom. Okay, you get the point, right? You get the point. So I've got a couple of USB-As. So straight away, what I may do is use the USB-As for mouse and Stream Deck. I know it's not a lot of bandwidth, but if they're there, I'm going to utilize them because... Okay, I don't know how the USB bus or buses, I don't know how it's broken down on the motherboard, but I think it's like a good choice to make, regardless of whether it's actually on a different bus or not. A good choice to make is to break out stuff onto separate ports rather than having everything attached to the dock. I don't know. I'll see how my cable management goes, but the idea would be mouse and external keyboard, if I can find one, on the USB-As, which are on the right-hand side of the laptop, as I'm indicating here, and as you can see in the browser. So that would be those two ports taken up. Then I have two USB-Cs, right? So the nice thing is the dock also does power delivery to the laptop, so that's great. That means I don't have to waste excuse me. Sorry, I don't have to waste one of the USB-Cs just for the power brick, so that's great. So I have those two USB-Cs on the left-hand side, and headphone out, but I won't use that. I'll attach my headphones to the audio interface. Um, and there's a dedicated HDMI out, which is rare these days on a laptop. So I'll aim to put the monitor, even though it's only 1080p, I'll aim to put the monitor on the physical HDMI out, because I certainly know that that would not share anything internally in the motherboard with the USB bus. So that's taking that, whatever 1080p 60 does in terms of bandwidth. I know it's not a ton, but it's something, right? That takes that bandwidth away from the dock. So now we've basically populated everything on the laptop. Um, I sometimes get dropouts on my microphone, on my audio interface, if I have it connected via the dock. So even though the bandwidth requirement is quite low because it's just 320 kilobits, whatever, even the uncompressed version of 320 kilobits sound is nothing, right? In terms of reliability, I may give that, like I'm doing right now, I may give that the second USB-C port, and then the first USB-C port is for the dock. So what remains on the dock then is I've broken out the mouse and the Stream Deck. I've broken out the audio interface. So what will remain is just USB-C charging for my phone if I'm using the 5G hotspot. That requires zero bandwidth. It just takes some of the power, but the power brick is without unplugging it. Let's see if I can look at it. The cable's quite long on it. The power brick looks quite beefy. It's 120 watt. So considering that my regular standalone power USB-C power brick for this laptop is 65, that kind of implies it can forward 65 and still have 55 or whatever it is left over for other stuff. And my phone certainly doesn't charge at 55. So yeah, in terms of power delivery, we have headroom. In terms of bandwidth, like I say, I'm going to be connecting, at the place that I'm going to, which I'll talk about later, I'm going to have just gigabit Ethernet. At home, I have 2.5. So that's one gigabit obviously gone out of those 40. Big deal. So Ethernet, USB power delivery, like I say, doesn't need any bandwidth. And then obviously the big one will be quad capture cards. I have to find a way of funneling quad 1080p capture cards through this fucking thing. And that's going to be interesting because at home I use PCIe. I've decided against the eGPU enclosure unless I just have no other option because it's so expensive. It takes up so much space in my luggage. It's so heavy to lug around to the convention. So what I'm going with, I don't think I talked about this yesterday. If someone was there yesterday and now remembers this and is like, what are you talking about, Unity? Then, where was it? So it was called J5 Create JVA06. So my idea is, well, I've actually already bought two of these. So because I usually don't use USB capture cards, I use PCI Express. I had to kind of buy new ones. I'm not a massive fan of them, but in this laptop setup, it's kind of the only way to go, unless I want to really go balls to the wall and, like I say, try an eGPU enclosure, even though it's not guaranteed that would be compatible with a capture card ever, basically. So there's a few dual input USB capture cards on the market, right? But a lot of them just pass through both signals, and that would put extra stress on this one 40 gigabit USB-C port, right? These cards, the thing that they do that no other card that I know about does is they can pre-composite both inputs into one, i.e. reducing the bandwidth requirement by a factor of 2. So they've got, you see that, right? Like they have physical buttons. I'll put the link in the chat in case you're all a little bit too bored or a little bit too lazy to actually Google this. So it's got physical buttons at the top. So it's got let's actually look at the YouTube. let's spend a little bit of time. Oh, you're gonna see all my cooker YouTube suggestions now. Oh no, no, it's mostly hi-fi. So let's. One second, I need to just double check that I have desktop audio. Desktop audio, unmute. Let me know if the mix is like really fucked up, guys. Okay, I only just set this up this morning. If I now play it, you should get desktop audio. If it's too low in the mix, just let me know. If it's too high in the mix, I guess I need to shout. So it's got picture in picture. It gets powered via USB-C, obviously, and data flows via USB-C. Let me just check on the chat in case it's a little loud. So desktop audio is too loud. Okay. Thanks for the feedback. Let me... what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna half the volume, alright? I think minus 20 dB is halving. Now let me know if it's good now or still too loud. Where are we at? Let's just re-roll it from the start. Give me some feedback. It should be half the previous volume, or else my volume slider isn't working in OBS for some reason. Okay. Still a bit too loud. Okay. Sorry, I just literally, I haven't used desktop audio in a long time. Let me do my dB math. How can I move this slider in small increments? What I'll do is I'll do minus 25 dB, which is actually a lot. That's a really high reduction in volume. Sorry, as I said yesterday, I'm working on a single screen, so a lot of stuff is a lot slower than it would be at home. So just bear with me. Come on, you stupid slider. Okay, minus 25 dB is a lot. Like that's... let's start from the start once more. Okay, feedback please on what's going on. How's it sounding now? I mean, I could actually monitor back the mix myself. It's perfect. Oh, thanks guys. Thanks. I really appreciate the feedback. Okay, so here's the important bit, right? Let's go back a little bit. So like I said, it's got a speaker pass through. I'm not going to use that, but it's got USB-C. It gets both its power and its data from USB-C. So no extra cabling. That's always nice. And it's got, I believe it does like power delivery pass through, or it allows you to break out the power. I haven't fully looked at that yet. But it's got a second USB-C port for whatever reason. But I'm not that interested in it. What I'm interested in is this right here. Let's even like, let's even go like half speed or something, because this is the whole ball game. This is like why I bought these capture cards rather than other ones. So it's got A only, B only, A plus B with picture in picture, B plus A with picture in picture, and then here are the really useful modes. I feel like it's got 50-50 split A plus B, so not picture in picture. And what's the sixth mode? I always forget. Oh, and it's got chroma key. I'm not going to be using the chroma key. I mean, I could, I guess, but I don't intend to. Let's just roll the rest of the. I don't remember. Oh, see right here, it's got 60 watts of power delivery, so that's kind of nice. I don't know exactly how that works. I'll roll the rest of the video at normal speed just for your guys' information, but like, I feel like the 6 picture modes are like the entire like reason. Yeah, I would just be muting the audio, like totally turning it off. But the fact that it's got these 6 picture modes and it's got them in hardware, You see the buttons? Like you've got your A, B, B, A, B, whatever. You've got all of your, you've got four buttons for the main modes, and then the two modes that they consider to be less important are like on a key combination, but that's fine. I'll get used to that. But like this is the entire ball game. Like this is exactly what I need. Oh, it's got cold shoes. Oh wow, wow. All right, okay. I didn't watch this far into the video last time. Uh, okay, I think this is the end of the video. Yeah, okay, this is the end. So you get my point, guys. Like with these capture cards, I bought two. I spent 600 Australian dollars on two of these because I need four. So I'm gonna be running two cameras, and I hope. I still have to sign this off with the people that are involved, but I really hope that I'll be able to capture two simultaneous bench rigs as well. So that's why I need two dual input HDMI capture cards, USB-C. And I'm really afraid that I'll saturate the bus. So that's why I may actually, if I can, you know what? I'm just thinking aloud now. Since the audio interface does not require that much bandwidth, what I may do is get a USB A to C adapter, run that straight into the laptop so it doesn't throw a hissy fit, because it sometimes doesn't like to be connected via the dock. Put like the mouse back onto the dock because it has no bandwidth, not as much bandwidth requirement as the audio interface does, and that then will open up the second USB-C port for one of the capture cards. So then my dock will only, quote unquote, have to deal with one capture card plus Ethernet, plus a few little things that are not really high bandwidth. And I feel like that might work. Like no matter how, I keep repeating this, but I think this is totally crucial, that basically I don't know how the USB bus is attached. In the end, the USB bus does it go straight into the chipset, or it goes via like PCI Express or something, right? I don't know exactly how that's laid out on the motherboard, but I still feel like splitting up the high bandwidth devices over two physical USB-Cs has got to be at least a little bit better than throwing it all through the dock. And these capture cards, like, there's if it works the way it's advertised, this is the exact fucking thing I need. Because I'll repeat it one last time, you're essentially reducing the bandwidth requirements. I now no longer have the bandwidth requirement of 4 times 1080p 60. I have the bandwidth requirement of 2 times 1080p 60, because the capture card pre-composites two inputs. So you either switch between two inputs, and therefore you only have the requirement of one of the two at a given moment, or you composite side by side, which is again only a 1080p stream, with each of the inputs taking up whatever half of 1080p is, or you do picture in picture, or you do chroma key or whatever. Like, isn't this really neat? Like, I'm excited, guys. If this works how it's advertised, now I should say that I spent hours last night buying these things because I couldn't find reference to the fact that they would be available somewhere in a brick and mortar store, which would be my preference. So I had to buy them online, and everyone's like, in Taiwan, everything's made in Taiwan. Everything's 24-hour guaranteed delivery. It arrives in like 6 hours. No worries, mate. I look up these capture cards, and they're available in 3 web stores, and none of them are guaranteed 24-hour delivery. So I'm a little bit nervous that they're going to arrive late. So I ordered yesterday afternoon, so 24-hour delivery would be this afternoon. I think even if it takes 48 hours, like tomorrow afternoon, that would still be kind of on time for what I want to do. But if it takes 72 or something, I'm kind of fucked, guys. I'm kind of fucked. Then I have to activate Plan B, which would be finding an eGPU enclosure and spending the big bucks. But let's not go there. I've been wearing these headphones for about half an hour without them actually being connected. So let's go. Let's return to the headphone topic. So Sebi said white. So here's your side by side comparison. They're the same headphone, just different color. So here they are off my head. You've just looked at the black one on my head for half an hour. What do you think, guys? Is Sebi right? Is white better? I'm actually gonna. It feels a little bit more awkward on my head. Oh, do I have it? No, I don't have it reversed. While you're sort of reacting in chat, I'm gonna, regardless of whether you tell me the black or the white is better, I'm gonna stick with the white today because I don't want to recable the black in. But I'm gonna actually monitor this time, as opposed to just rocking some headphones for no fucking apparent reason for half an hour. But I was talking a lot, and what do I don't know. I was thinking about this yesterday, right? Really small thing, but do I want the weird elastic thing, or do I just want a really long cable that's not elastic? In terms of total length, let's see. So non-extended, this is two lengths of this one. How does that compare to two lengths of this? Oh, you see, this one's longer, and if I don't want the length, maybe, well, we can all use some more length if you know what I mean. But this, yeah, okay, let's try the weird elastic one and see how it's like in terms of comfort. Okay, so this goes into this end, and I'll catch up with the chat in a second once I have this connected. Coil cables are amazing. Okay, I trust you. I'll try this. Now, how do we route it such that? Where's the attachment? Oh, it's on the other. I need to route it such that it doesn't get in the way of my mouse and stuff. 1 second, guys. Okay. Let's also move that pillow. That's been annoying me in the background. I'm obviously OCD or something. Let's literally just throw it to the other side of the room. There we go. It's gonna be, housekeeping is gonna come in a couple of hours and like redo the entire thing anyway, so there's no point in keeping it off the floor if necessary. Yeah, what's kind of okay, let me up my volume though. Ooh. Check 1 2. Okay, I have a decent monitoring volume now, so that's good. I just have to get used to. I in a perfect world, I'd be using in-ear monitors. Are they within reach? Yes. Okay. What I'd like to use is passive noise cancelling in-ear monitors, which, if you're not familiar, kind of look like this. They go really deep into your ears, and have like tips that are designed to give you good noise cancellation. But like passive over ear is still better noise cancellation than passive in ear. So I feel like on a convention floor, these headsets are the way to go. And I also felt like as I'm going to be interviewing people, it sort of makes sense in like a stylistic kind of point of view. I know it's a small thing, but if you're just imagine a second person sitting next to me wearing this, it sort of makes sense that we both wear the same headsets. Okay, let's catch up with chat. Can I hide? Unhide all. Okay, I'm just gonna remute desktop audio in case anything sort of. I don't have notifications on desktop, so actually that nothing would leak into the chat, but I'm just muting it out of paranoia. Okay, let's where's the best place to catch up with chat? Didn't I have chat open separately somewhere? Okay, I'll just go on the stream. I don't give a fuck. Okay, blah 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 blah. Can't hear. It's too loud. Yeah, it's like louder than needed. That might help some. Lol. Still a bit too loud. Drowns you out though. Blah 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 blah. I say it's perfect now. Okay. Coil cables are amazing. Oh, that was Star Blue. Okay, cool. Right. I think Electric Meme Rat is. I'm just looking at the viewer list. I believe that's a bot. If you're not a bot, I feel like that's a 99% certainty that it's a bot. If you're not a bot, whisper me. I'll unban you. But just for right now, I've banned this person or bot or whatever because I don't want any of these weird bots in my, like, even the bots that don't spam the chat. I feel like there's no point in them being here. It just inflates the viewer count, and I want the opposite. I want the true viewer count. Okay. What were we talking about? I want to maybe buy a new audio interface, but I feel like so I've been going for an hour. Yeah. I have some smaller topics as well, but I think that at this point, the thing that is the most important is I'm it's like an announcement, but it's an announcement without words because I'm gonna do it visually, and then you can kind of guess what it's all about. Okay. Yeah, back to front. That's not good. So there's clue number one. Clue number two is this. Can you guess what I'm hinting at? Okay. Hopefully G-Skill are okay with me talking about this now. Yeah, I'm going to be casting the G-Skill comp. They gave me a pass. It says exhibitor at the bottom, so I can go to Computex, the convention floor, pretty much 24/7, and set up my stuff and get ready to stream the comp. Sebi, you're... I need to get this right. What's the feedback on the headset, by the way? Black or white? Besides Sebi, I know Sebi already said white. So I must immediately go to the comp page and refamiliarize myself with who's even competing. That's probably a good way to start. Okay, live final. Here we go. To be announced. Okay, this is not really configured properly yet, but it wasn't even put into the comp stage. So I guess it would have been a news article, right? Wow. Okay, not even a news article. Okay, let's go forums then. But dark mode is amazing for forums, by the way. It's hidden somewhere. I can probably dig out where it is. A lot of people don't know that it exists, but dark mode is amazing. Okay, let's see comps. Where are the comps? Right here. Yes, it's called the live qualifier. Okay. Star Blue. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna throw a few commands into the chat just for the benefit of everyone. So this G-Skill have indicated to me, I don't have the stream key yet, so I guess it's not a billion% official, but I've been told that they would like me to dual cast on my Twitch and G-Skill official, which is this YouTube channel. The competition that I will be casting, not every single second of it. I have to lower expectations straight away because I'm only one person and the competition goes on for like 20 hours across 3 or 4 days. But Select segments of this competition is what I'm going to be casting. So live qualify. Well, that's the live qualify. There's also a final. How do I explain the format to people who don't know the format? It's actually harder than you think. Anyone could enter the online qualifier. I need to move my sorry, I need to move my chat. Is the chat sizing too small as well? I'd like some feedback on that. Twitch chat, order, move to the top. There we go. Oh, it disappeared when I moved it. That's kind of weird. Someone say something. Blah, blah. Okay, so it's there. Okay, so sizing is fine, but it was like kind of a little bit too far into the center of the stream. Okay. Where's the banner? Isn't there a banner for G-Skill? I could just show people the banner. Where's the banner? Online qualifier. The banner should be in this thread. Yeah, okay. Right, okay. So here's the headline, like the absolute. Oh, I need to go into this view. Here's the absolute headline view of this competition, right? $40,000 in cash prizes, not for first, like that's total prizes. Okay, competition sponsored by G-Skill, using G-Skill memory, obviously. At every step of the stage, right, of the competition. So extreme overclocking competition, certain rules attached. I won't go through absolutely every rule. They are on both the hardware bot forums and like the competition pages, but let's just try to break it down in the simplest terms possible. There's a hardware. There was. It's now over. There was a hardware bot competition called the online qualifier for G-Skill. Anyone could enter. You just had to follow certain rules, like use G-Skill memory, blah 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 blah. And then at the end of this, I always get this number wrong. Maybe Sebi can correct me. Is it 9 or 10 people that qualified? I think it's 9, but it's changed between the years. But obviously the competitors, like, let's actually look it up. Let's look it up. Let's not mince our words. So we had. Don't show my history, god damn it. Let's look at the online qualifier. It's got to be here. Okay. So this was the comp. This was the online qualifier part of it. These were the stages. You're free to like browse this in your own time. Here were the rules. Again, it's a lot of rules. I'm not going to go through all of them. This happened at these times, so February to March, so it's been a while. And does it say how many qualify? Top 9, okay. So we're lucky draw winners. Top 9 get a kit and get to come to the live qualifier, all right? So 3 stages, like I said. Online qualifier, which whittles down a list of how many people competed? A list of 67 people to 9. All right. Why does my browser window go away sometimes? So 67 people whittled down to 9. Top 9 come to Taipei. Actually, Sebi or whoever could probably detail this in a bit more detail. I believe G-Skill at least contribute towards your flights and accommodation. I'm not 100% on that, but anyway, they get the choice to come to Taiwan. Sometimes people opt out and say, I only competed in the qualifier, the online qualifier, because I wanted to compete. I wanted to see how good I am, but actually, due to personal reasons or personal preferences, I cannot go to the actual event. And then the 10th person gets that slot, right? Anyway, 9 people are through. I may as well show the actual 9 people, which is not these people because that's the last page. Sens and Sebi, who's in chat, Biso, Black Dot, Surgeman, Demon. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your name. Demon 50527. He's a new guy. I don't know who he is, but congrats on making it. Mika, Lumui and Jiangchen Liu. So the bubble boy basically is zero Dan, unfortunately, but these nine are through, right? Um, and they're in Taiwan right now, and they're getting ready for the comp, which starts the live qualifier part of the comp, which starts tomorrow. Um, does that make sense so far? So, open qualifier, all online. 67 people participated. Top nine get through. If someone doesn't want to come to Taiwan, then the 10th gets in. If a second person doesn't want to come, the 11th gets in, and so on. So now we've got nine people here, and I'm going to be explaining this again on the actual official stream in a day's time or whatever. But it's good practice to sort of rejig my memory about how all this stuff even works. It's stuff like I won't be able to swear on the mainstream and stuff, so I'm going to do it like the Irish way today, and then the non-Irish way tomorrow, the polite way. Um, Nine people are here. Then the second stage is the live qualifier, which is basically another set of benchmarks, but this time instead of having a month to complete them, you have like 6 hours or something. Again, Sebi will be able to tell you in more detail, but you have like a very limited amount of time to do it in on the world record stage in the G Skill booth at Computex with people walking around like watching you bench and stuff. So it's a little bit more high pressure scenario than what the online qualifier was. So that's the stage that's going to start tomorrow. It goes on. So tomorrow is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I believe, and then the final is Friday. So roughly something like that. Don't quote me on that. So in total, it's 4 days to determine winner in Taiwan for this competition, but it's broken down into the live qualifier and the live finals. Now let's see if I can find the breakdown of the prize money and stuff. Hardware, software, stages, cooling limitations, points per stage, final notes, hardware prizes, lucky draw. Okay, that doesn't say it. So that was the online qualifier thread. Now let's look at the live qualifier thread. Yeah, so you've got the dates here, right? You've got 20th to 22nd. So today is the 19th. 20th, 21st, 22nd. So I was right. 3 days of live qualifier and then 1 day of finals on Friday. Okay, here's your benchmark list, the general rules. You can look at all this. Another sort of breakdown of what's happening, what's supplied, what you have to bring yourself. And here's like where the rubber meets the road, right? Here's the actual breakdown of who's going to be benching when. Let me just quickly catch up on the chat. Oh, Sebi has hijacked Mark's Twitch account. Nice. Okay, so no cash compensation. However, the lowest price is enough to pay for the full trip. Okay, so it's kind of the same thing, except I guess if you were to be disqualified, like fully disqualified from the comp, then maybe you wouldn't get a cash prize and then you would have to pay for your trip yourself. But yeah, it's basically the same thing, except instead of paying for your trip up front, they pay for it once the competition is over. So like same in a way. It's just that you have to kind of front the money and then you get it back. Cool. Thanks for confirming that. Before the prize was only for the first place, yeah, and now that they kind of do, yeah, it does. It's going to be on Arrow Lake. Damn, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, so that is actually a good point. The qualifiers, the online qualifiers, they chose to open up to both platforms, Z790 and Z890. So whatever, like Raptor Lake Refresh and Arrow Lake. So it was really challenging because certain stages were optimal on Z790 and other stages on Z890. So you had to have like two separate boards. And like the optimal board for 790 is, let's say, a Tachyon or an Apex, whereas the optimal board on 890 is a OCF. So you even have to switch board manufacturers and stuff. It was a whole mess. But now, if I'm reading this thread correctly, the both the live qualifier and the live finals are on Arrow Lake only. Let's just scroll back. There you go. G Skill only, LGA 1851 platform only. Okay, here's your benchmarks. I mean, okay, let me just put this in this chat just in case people have trouble finding it. Okay, G-Spill provides this section. Participant provides this section. Okay, Arlog only, and then you've got clock limits, right? Max 6 P cores, no E cores are hyperthreading. Max frequency 6005 megahertz on the core, and 5005 on the on-core. Now I have to say I'll have to read up on this tonight or tomorrow at the latest. I'm not familiar with a lot of these Arrow Lake terms because I haven't benched it. So I don't immediately know what NGU and D2D is, but I'll certainly read up on the theory of it. What else should I mention? I'm sort of struggling to find the price breakdown. Let's see. Okay, here's the BIOSes. Let's go G-Skill official on that. Official. Do they have a news post up for this comp? They should. Okay, so that's the booth number. That's exhibition hall. If I go into the Computex one, will it? Yeah. So this is a cool thing to kind of point out as well. So there's the world record stage, which is separate to the competition, where people are breaking world records on the OC World Record stage, sponsored by G-Skill, in the G-Skill booth. So a set of people who are not necessarily the competitors. Actually, it's necessarily not the competitors because the competitors are busy doing the competition. Will be on the world record stage, breaking world records. I'll see if I can cover some of that. I'm not 1,000% sure right now what the schedule is, world record stage versus the competition. I guess they don't overlap because it's not a physically enough space for both to be going on at the same time. And some of the people aiming to break world records on stage are actually also judges for the competition. So I just feel like they must be two separate things. But TBD on whether I can stream this or whatever. But just to point out, these are the people, everyone's associated with the manufacturer. So we've got Kovan Yang, Lucky Noob, Psych, and Shimizu, and Top PC for MSI. We've got Young Pro, Loud Silence, League Hoofts, and Hiwa for G-Skill. Maybe worth pointing at, like, I don't know what MSI's deal is. They're like the least active manufacturer. Sorry if anyone's offended by that, but they really are in terms of XOC. I don't know what these people are going to be doing, but I can probably provide some insight for G-Skill. Young Pro and Loud Silence will be actually benching and aiming to break world records. Lihuft and Hiwa will be there more in a support function, pre-binning RAM, and they're also judges for G-Skill comp. Let's see. G-Skill judges. To the best of my knowledge, it's Young Pro, Lihuft, and Hiwa. I don't think Loud Silence is. Obviously, G-Skill themselves have some input as well, but they're not, to the best of my knowledge, no one at G-Skill is actually officially a judge. These three guys are. Azus, Tony Elmer, SafeDisk, Scatterbencher, and Surge Man. Surge is Gigabyte. Tony Elmer, SafeDisk, and Scatterbencher, aka Peter, aka Massman. I don't know what they're going to be doing, but I guess they're going to, like, SafeDisk is going to be breaking records for sure. Maybe everyone else are just in support functions for SafeDisk, who knows? Okay, Giga. Surge, Sirach, and Haikuki. So Surge, well, all three are going to be benching, I'm pretty sure. Surge and Sirach definitely going to be benching. But Surge didn't qualify for G Skill, right? Oh, he did. Wow. So if I'm reading this right, is Mika on there? I don't think Mika is on here, is he? That's tough, man. So Surge is gonna pull double duty of world record stage and comp. Full credit to him already. That's a lot of damn work. That's really impressive. I tell you guys, I wouldn't do it. That's very stressful. Yeah. So Surge and Sirach, main benchers. Haikuki, an actual Gigabyte employee who can bench as well, but I don't know if he's gonna how much of that he's gonna be doing. And TL and Nick Shee for Azarok. So where's Alan? Alan couldn't make it this year, eh? Yeah, exactly. No splave. Zust points the same thing out. So NGU is like FCLK. Okay, good to know. But I'm gonna dig into the details when I get the time. Okay, we have an explanation of NGU. Yeah, but like I say, I'm gonna read like if I can find a white paper, I'm gonna read like a 10-page white paper on it. You know, if I can find that, because I really want to be able to talk with some authority about this platform, even though I've never benched it. Yeah, no splave. That's kind of interesting. Maybe he couldn't make it for like personal reasons or something. They do overlap. The stage is pretty big. They are on the other half of the stage. Okay, good to know. Proper AMD stuff. New Empower. Oh, MSI are going to be doing AMD stuff. Yeah. So let me see if I can pull up Facebook. Okay, let's go Facecam for a little while. I'm going to pull up the Lucky Noob, aka Alva's, because he's an MSI, right? Alva, Jonathan, yeah. I'll put up his profile because he's posted some stuff. Okay, now I can go browser cam again. 16 hours ago, bench meet. Okay, so this is old. So let's look at the sorry, my zoom level is all kinds of fucked up. That's probably more appropriate. My eyesight isn't the best anymore. So these are the Computex posts from the MSI guys. So there's Let's Go. That's just like a teaser. Nothing to see here. Let's check out these ones. Let's do an auto translate on the. Ooh, where's the translate button? Where is the translate button? Please let me translate Indonesian. I don't speak Indonesian. Oh, this is March 2023. Oh, so he's not posted anything except this teaser on Facebook. Let me quickly. Can I show my Insta? Okay, I'll out of an abundance of caution, I'm gonna switch scenes again for my Insta. I don't know what pops up in my feed. I don't want this stream VOD to be deleted for whatever goddamn reason. Let's go on Alva's Insta. Lucky Noob. That should find it. Alva. Okay. So this is his Insta. Now I'm safe. Okay. Let's just scroll through all of it, right? Wish me luck. Da 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 da. So here there's a translation. So what does he say? So the story like previous years, late GW with friends, MSI OC Lab will perform at G-Skill OC World Record Stage at Computex 2025 to try and find any benchmark record we can chase. Of course, other board runners will also follow and bring their respective overclockers. This is not a race. This is a showcase event to chase the overclocking world record. Wish me luck. Okay, cool. I do wish him luck. Have I liked this post yet? Where's the like button? Oh, down here. Like. Okay, cool. Okay, we already saw that. So that was this post. Let's go here. Translate. Okay, so he brought an Epic 4 core. That's nice. That might be world record worthy for sure, depending on what bin it is. What's this? This is just like an ad. Yeah, whatever. Okay, he does some of this stuff. It's okay. See you guys soon. So he brought a Galax display card. Nice, I guess. It looks nice. I mean, I like the white design, but I don't know how that's relevant. Okay, so here's their board, right? So what is this? Without looking at the text, that is an AMD socket. and 2 dimmer. What is the extra 8 pin about? And what's this weird chipset cover? And why does it only have 2 slots? That's crazy. Is this M80X? This is full size, this full fat ATX, right? So an ATX board that feels the need to include so many M.2s that there's only 2 physical slots. Okay, but let me not get on that rant. Okay, so this is this a yes? Why is there a fan header attached? Oh no, that's the battery. Okay, but I feel like the way that the back IO is placed, and the way that there's a weird chipset cover, and the way that the battery is placed, I feel like this is a yes. Like this doesn't look like a retail board to me. Like I appreciate that the heat sinks have been pulled off, but it still feels a yes to me. This is a mobile that maybe cannot be announced yet. So it is. If this post is lost, it means I got work. Okay, so I swear to you guys, I did not read the text before I made that semi-educated guess of a yes. Okay, so this is B850 M power. Okay, B850. Uh, Also, Psych has stupidly got bin 9900X and can take every record easy. Early, yes. There's a retail pick I can DM. No. I mean, I'm not a person who really necessarily cares about what a board looks like as long as it clocks well. But I was just talking about a yes in the context of this picture that I'm currently looking at is a yes, just to note it. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate that it's early production, and it's not retail yet. La di da. Discord channel in Harvard Discord. Okay, cool. All right. Interesting. Like, okay, we're running kind of long, but interesting to me. Actually, we're kind of 1,000 likes. Holy fuck, 38. Okay, people must really love MSI in Indonesia. And then the same teaser. Okay, so that's all they've publicly shared. Sweet. So I'll just go into a really brief discussion about like it seems like they're choosing the B chipset. So Gigabyte did that for the 600 series. I don't know why they skipped 700 actually. I feel like okay, so I got I can show you the other shirts I got. I got a black version and I got another yellow version as well. I feel like this has just a weird neckline. I must get some like, if I'm gonna wear this, I have to get some like white t-shirts to wear under this. I don't want fucking like chest hair showing on a stream on Gigabyte official YouTube. That's very unprofessional. Okay, but on my own stream, it's fine. I don't give a fuck, guys. Yeah. So there's been 2 chipsets for AM5, right? Two families of chipsets. When the first family, aka the 600 series, came out, Gigabyte chose to make the Tachyon a B650E, and that surprised people. And I believe all the other boards, like the Apex, was an X series, X670E or whatever. Now the 800 series of boards comes out. Gigabyte puts the Tachyon on X870. I don't know if it's E or not. I think E was discontinued and now the X870 is the same as the E. I don't care because it's all just like extra M.2 slots and PCIe lanes. Like, I really don't give a flying fuck. But anyway, Gigabyte chose to swap to the X series, but MSI choose to go to the B series. And I know the difference is slight, but it's like a marketing thing. Like, I feel like Gigabyte chose B series because it was like the right chipset to choose for XOC possibly, but maybe people who wanted to buy Takis for their main, like for their daily, who are not into XOC, were like, oh, why is this $1,000 board on the shit chipset? And that's probably why Gigabyte swapped back to X, but now MSI are going to B again. So it's kind of fascinating. It's a small thing. Okay. I'm gonna start to wind things down because I'm hungry and I want to have breakfast and I want to go to the electronics store, and then afterwards I have to go to G-Scale to catch a ride to the exhibition center and to do a test setup over there. So, okay. Long story short, I can't keep going forever. But let me grab the other shirts for a second. Be right back. As you see, my pajama pants, baby blue. I don't give a fuck. As long as there's no accidental nudity, I really don't give a fuck, guys. This is my own channel that I'm talking on, so there you go. So yeah, the sizes in Taiwan are different. Like I would be a natural kind of, depending on the like brand, I can sometimes still squeeze into a small, and certainly medium is plenty big enough for me. But in Taiwan, this is a large, and it's quite snug. So they gave me two XL and two large. So what was it? Two black XLs and, oh, this is XL as well. Okay, so this is the only large. One large, three XL. So I'm literally just gonna be throwing this up over the top. Like I say, no accidental nudity or intentional nudity in this case. Right. I think I can take my badge off now. I've done enough styling. Well, a pathetic version of styling that nobody's gonna get or appreciate in any shape or form. So this has got the different neck, like more of a polo type situation. So I feel like that straight away is just an upgrade. I like the neonness of the bottom one here. Like this is a little bit less like um gaudy. I'm searching for a word that describes it. This is ever so slightly toned down. It's less of a neon yellow, and it's more of like, because I'm using my internal camera, you may not see the actual colors, so I'm describing them. This is more of a lime type color and less neon. So, but the design is broadly the same. But I like that the neck is better, and it's more of like, it's not like, this bottom one is like an indoor soccer bib type material. Like it's pretty shit. Sorry, G Skill, but it's true. This is an actual, like, I don't know if it's actually cotton or it's still synthetic, but like a mix or something. But it feels more cottony. So I think that's a better option in terms of the colorful ones, and it's, the sizes are so close together. Like Loud Silence was telling me yesterday that and he's not like obese or anything, he needs a double XL, and then like some guys who are actually big need like a triple XL in Taiwan, because the sizes are just so different to the US or Australia. Let me try and take this off without any accidental nudity. Yeah, like I say, better neckline, better material. Let's check. Is it? It feels like it's a synthetic slash cotton mix. So let's see what the tag says. Bang on! I should be a tailor. 27% polyester, 73% cotton. Boom! That was a lucky guess. Okay, and here I just have a duplicate. Like they're both XLs and they both look the same design. I think. Let me check. Yeah, it's got the same sleeve with the. So in case anyone doesn't know, G Skill are founded in 1989. They're quite proud of that. So the YouTube channel even has 1989 in the name. It's like at g.skill underscore official underscore 1989 or something like that. So that's represented here, and at the offices as well. They have 1989 signs up in a lot of places. All right. So feels more synthetic again. This feels like 100% synthetic. Let's see if I'm right. Maybe I'll just check the tag on the duplicate I've got over here. As I just knocked the shit out of my laptop for no reason. Ooh, no tag. Seriously? What the fuck? Has it been removed? Like, I don't think it's legal to sell clothes without a tag, right? The fuck? Okay. I guess we'll never know. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not super positive on the actual neck. Like it's better than the bottom one here, but this is yeah. I think the other yellow one is the lime green one is sort of the way to go. Um, but it's good to have um, a less gaudy looking color, like a black one, just as a backup if one is in the wash or something, or you accidentally tear it or spill it or stain it or do something to it. Uh, MSI about to steal the one dim per channel MATX cheap board crown from the HDV. Fair point. I really wanted to pick up an HDV when I was in the US because it's not retail in Australia because almost nothing is retail in Australia. Ooh, my stream title is wrong. Let me like 5 hours into the stream, I'm like, oh, let's change my stream title to the correct one. Okay, better late than never, I suppose. I should remember that. I should actually legit make an actual to do list of what to remember for a stream. Uh, uh, what are we going to call it? Actual stream to do reminders. Oh, this note taking app used to have emoticons in it, but it doesn't anymore. What else? What else? What else? Ooh, mute audio on intro screen. What was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about? I suppose I could put this down. um, what the hell was I just talking about? Oh, HTV. I was talking about the HTV, but it's not retail in Australia. Ugh. Really, really lost my train of thought. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. Okay, cool. So what next? I think we're almost done. Drop frames look good. I'd appreciate some feedback as to how stable the stream has been throughout. Like I say, I now have the option of Ethernet, so I'm hoping to just rely on Ethernet throughout. Um, if not, it feels like the 5G may be a pretty okay backup to it. Okay, let's. I'm thinking of buying an audio interface, but I think that's a kind of boring subject. I think I talked about this yesterday already. Anyway, so there's the capture card. Let's go back to the browser. Ooh, I need to. You know what? I need to think about. Yeah. I may. I'll see what G-Skill says, but I may add a stream delay. So usually I'm in low latency mode because I like to have as instant feedback from chat as possible. But I feel like maybe having a longer delay on the stream could be beneficial when you're streaming on G-Skill official as well. That's a maybe. Um, okay, so I've got this set up. Ooh, there was something else I was thinking about. Yeah, okay. Let me just try to totally, completely, and utterly condense down audio interface. Ugh. Okay, back to Facecam for a little second. And okay, here's the doc I wanted to look at. So Oh, I was talking to Shaggy about this yesterday. That's why I'm confusing it. So what I want to do is I want to have a second independent audio monitoring output on my audio interface, and that requires buying a new interface. Um, because I talked about this yesterday. I'll just summarize it as quickly as humanly possible. I I can get a splitter in order to have the same audio monitoring output duplicated onto the second headset that I showed you, the black one. Um, but what that means is it is a shared mix between both of them. So if for whatever reason, like stuff like um, watching, if for whatever reason I'm doing an interview and we have to watch a YouTube video together, I don't know why that would come up, but like that might come up. If I'm doing like 20 interviews, one of those might include a YouTube video. Then it means like both my voice and the interviewee's voice and the desktop audio, i.e., the YouTube video playing, will just be pre-mixed in whatever way I want the mix on my headset for them to share with me, which is fine. I think that's kind of okay. Um, but what the second independent output would allow me to do is, first of all, it has independent volume control. Like everyone's hearing is different, right? So that immediately is a plus. I feel like, because if we're in a noisy environment and I can hear fine with quarter volume, but they need half volume, you have to kind of compromise, right? Because it's one volume control for both headsets. I've wanted to kind of upgrade my audio interface for a while anyway, because I use it as my DAC. I don't know if people are into music, but if I'm listening to digital music on my desktop setup, because I have vinyl as well, and I love vinyl. If I'm listening to digital, so streaming like Spotify, I have where's the my kit.co kit.co. What I have is so many tabs. Can you see this? Oh, back to the browser. What I have is I have this audio interface, which is pretty low. That's actually pretty. What does a Magewell go for these days? I'm curious. It may be end of life. $300. That's not too bad. It's pretty low end. Like it's a USB-C, which is nice because that means you can power it off the same cable that's used for data. Some audio interfaces insist on an external brick, and I have. What do I have? Oh, back to the browser. Yeah, so the Steinberg, you can power off USB-C. At home, I have two 8 output plus 4 USB-A power boards. So I have 16 power sockets plus 8 times the USB-A for the smaller shit. I still run out. So the fact that I can run my audio interface off of laptop power delivery via USB-C is like a godsend. Anyway, that's a tangent and a half. Okay, but what I was gonna mention was, oh, did I take him out? Oh shit. Anyway, I have like JBL. What are they called? Oh, I don't want to. No, I don't want to go there. JBL. Yeah. So the URL is still there. JBL, but it's obviously been removed. What was it? 305 JBL 305p, something like that. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much it. So I've got. Come on, Store DJ. Something similar to this, not this exact model. I don't think it's a Mark II or anything like that. But I have this model for. I love music, so I listen to music while I'm benching. And these are active speakers, so they have amplification built in. So all you have to send to them is an analog signal, like a non-amplified analog signal, essentially. Like all you're doing is volume control. So the preamplifier role, if anyone is familiar with those terms for hi-fi. So my audio interface, not only do I use it for my microphone to be ADC'd, right? So because your voice is analog and the little coil moving the microphone is analog, and then that signal eventually gets converted to digital in order to be encoded, to be included in the stream, to be sent to you guys. So my audio interface does ADC for the mic and preamplification for the mic. It does that thing, but it also does, and it does obviously the headphone monitoring output, right? So I can monitor just the mic. I can feed desktop audio into that as well, because obviously you don't want to wear two different sets of headsets. But by default, what this is outputting is literally just whatever is being input into the mics, or either microphone singular or microphones plural. So it does this, it does the microphone, but when I'm not streaming, it also does DACing, not ADCing, but DACing, because digital to analog conversion, because my laptop will grab a stream off of Spotify and then output the stream unmodified, like just the bit stream basically. Well, it's not PCM, right? Like, but whatever. I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be, but essentially, let's say the music comes down as AAC from Spotify in that codec. Then all the laptop does is like unpack the AAC, make a linear PCM out of it, and send that to the DAC. So it's not really done anything. Like the decoding, you can't lose any quality there. Like it's basically just done a digital to digital conversion. You know what I mean? Like it's gone from a protocol that the USB audio interface may or may not know to just linear PCM, which is because you've got a USB-C connection, right? You don't care that it's fully uncompressed now, because you've gone from like whatever 320 kilobits to like megabits worth of bandwidth requirement, because it's now uncompressed. But like you really don't give a shit, because you're only sending it from one part of your desk to another using a really fat pipe. So who gives a fuck? But yeah, then it arrives as linear PCM on the audio interface. And the audio interface does two things, two really important things that are really critical to the sound quality that ends up being sent to the speakers. When my speakers are studio monitors, they're very low-end studio monitors, but they're good speakers. It does DACing and it does preamplification. You understand the difference? Like I send the data unmodified to the audio interface. Like I set volume in Windows to 100, but don't let that fool you. That means zero amplification. To the best of my knowledge, the way it's implemented in Windows 10 and 11, the way that the volume slider works is 100 means like maximum volume, fine, but it actually kind of means, I'm really getting into the weeds here, but like it in the sense of, I'll try to simplify this, but if you're using the preamp of your laptop, i.e. the headphone out, 3.5 mm headphone out, then yes, 100 means amplification, certainly, because you're using an amplification stage there. But if you're sending a bit stream, which is what I'm doing here to go to my audio interface, 100 actually means no modification. And less than 100 means attenuation, which is the opposite of amplification, right? So I set it to 100 in Windows, because I don't want Windows to fuck with it, because whatever sound cards, whatever chips, whatever SoCs that my laptop would use as my phone is going off, because I had an alarm set, which is my cue to actually stop the stream. What was I going with this? Yeah, I want to bypass all the circuitry in the laptop and literally just send a bit stream to the audio interface. Then it does both digital to analog conversion, DACing, and amplification. So there's a nice big volume knob on, we all love our knobs, right? A nice big volume knob on the front of the interface that will give you a lot of power, a lot of leeway in terms of what volume you want to set and send to the speakers. So the speakers actually have amplification built in, So you're essentially amplifying twice. But in most hi-fi scenarios, you do actually amplify twice. So again, I'm getting into the weeds, but there's like a power amplifier component and a preamplifier component. The power amplifier has a fixed gain, a fixed amount of amplification it adds no matter what within its specs. Obviously, if you drive it like with a weird load or whatever, eventually it'll just like catch fire or shut down thermally or something. But I mean, if you respect the specs that the power amplifier manufacturer gives to you, which is a really broad range, then the power amplifier gives you a set gain. And the way you get volume control is in the preamplifier stage, which is what the audio interface does in my desktop setup, which is the volume control. So that's the variable gain. So hopefully I've not lost everyone. Like in a hi-fi scenario, you're the way that you get to an output sound pressure level basically that is loud enough for you as the listener, as the audiophile or whatever, to be satisfied by it is by having a set amount of gain on the power amplifier, which in this case my speakers are acting as the power amplifiers because they have amplifiers built in. They're active speakers as opposed to passive speakers. So you've got a set amount of gain, whatever it may be, 25 dB, whatever, and then you adjust the volume on top with attenuation, with a potentiometer basically built into your preamplifier, which in my desktop setup is the audio interface. Now, but the gain can be like so negative it goes to zero, right? Like obviously if I turn down the volume all the way, then you have zero gain, because zero multiplied by 25 gain. Let's say the speakers, the power amplifiers inside of the speakers do 25 dBs of gain. If you multiply that by not 0 dB, because 0 dB is actually not zero volume, but if you multiply it by a dB value that is low enough that it is zero, essentially, then you can still get zero, right? But you've got your volume control. All that to say, if I'm listening to music on my desktop system, I know I'm rambling, then the audio interface plays the most crucial role besides the speakers in terms of audio quality. So I've got a pretty low end Steinberg UR22C audio interface, which I'm very happy with in terms of what it does with the mic and how it is in terms of reliability and functionality. But I feel like there are some gains to be had in terms of how good the DAC and the preamp part are. So I'm not just thinking about buying a new higher end Steinberg with two monitoring 1/4 inch headphone outs with independent volume control and independent mixing. That's a small thing. I can get away without having that at the expo at Computex. But the part that makes me want to spend the money on a new audio interface is that if you go a little bit higher up in the food chain, then you get better DAC chips and you get better internal circuitry and all the rest of it. I'm about to turn off the stream. I have 1 day old 59 and 69 Taiwanese dollar terrible Family Mart sandwiches waiting for me to be eaten before they they expire. I'm looking forward to that. So it's tuna, cheese and egg and New Orleans grilled chicken and lettuce. I don't know what in the flying fuck New Orleans grilled chicken is, but I'm gonna try it and I'm gonna tell you next stream. Let me just do one more quick sweep of the chat and then I'm gonna sign out. Okay, nobody added anything in the chat. Well, it's 2 hours in. I don't blame you guys. Right. Okay. So the thing is, I want to do a third and final test stream tomorrow. So again, 24 hours on from this stream and 48 hours on from the first test stream. I see a tiny amount of extra dropped frames, but in general, I have the quality set to the wrong setting. Shit. Okay, let's quickly up it to 6,000 and see how that goes. See how stability is. Okay, so it's ticking up. It's hit 6,000. It's still giving me 5 bars of reception, even though that's kind of a meaningless measure. Because, yeah, okay, I mean, it's Wi-Fi. I guess you can talk about bars there. No extra drop frames. CPU load's still good. No excessive fan whirring, but anyway, like I said, at the comp, my mic placement will be a lot better. So you probably heard the fan occasionally during this stream when I wasn't talking, but that's just because literally the fan is 15 centimeters away. It's going to be like 2 meters away if I can help it. Okay, CPU stats. So we have 50% CPU utilization. I upped the encoder quality today. I don't know if that's noticeable or if the internal camera is just not good enough to pick that up. So I found the settings. I went from fast to medium, which is the next slowest. But I still have available to me slow, slower, very slow, and placebo. Very slow and placebo, I think, are totally out. I think that would just kill my system. I'm going to try slow. Not that much slower than medium, it feels like. So I can probably stick with slow. So that's good. That's going to give me a bit more quality. I don't know on the back end, like, is this doing hardware encoding on the CPU? Because the setting in OBS is X264 software. But software kind of just means on the CPU. I think the CPU can, or the OS or whatever ends up deciding, can still independently decide to partially or fully hardware encode in spite of whatever OBS setting I have enabled. Okay, CPU is fine. CPU is not ticking up. Ooh, but I have a little bit of desktop lag, I think. Okay, so yeah, tentatively, if my body is still so fucked up in terms of jet lag that it wakes up at 5 a.m. like it did today, then I might not do a 2-hour test stream because I'll be streaming later that day, like for real. But I do wanna, if I can pick up some electronics today, I do want to put them into the loop. If my shipment arrives, hopefully, fingers crossed, or I can pick up a new audio interface in a brick and mortar store, because I don't think if I ordered that delivery it would arrive like in time. That would be like maybe Friday or something when that arrives. All that to say, I may have new hardware, so I see some value in doing another test stream tomorrow morning, but it's not going to be 2 hours like this, and I'll have limited things to talk about. Anyway, G-Skill is happening, and I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited too. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Talk to you tomorrow, either in the morning for a test stream or at the very latest in the afternoon at some point. I'll try and publish a schedule as soon as it's decided. It's not decided yet. It's all a bit last minute, but that's fine. I'll mention it in the relevant Discord channels and stuff when I know, and we'll go from there. So enjoy the rest of your day. Until tomorrow.